So you just clicked on a video called "Click This to Become a Girl." Now, here's the thing. 99.9% of cis men do not click on such videos. So let's investigate what we're feeling here. So, to make it really clear off the bat, it's okay if you feel this way. Wanting to be a girl is perfectly chill. Being a girl is very cool. I recommend. I'm quite a fan. Earlier in my transition, I felt like I wasn't allowed to live as a girl because I wasn't miserable enough as a boy. And here's the thing. You don't have to be miserable to be allowed to be a girl. If you just think wearing cute clothes, doing makeup, hair, just chilling, being one of the girls is appealing to you, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. There's just nothing, it's not really a problem. Usually the stigma of being transgender is more socially constructed. What that means is other people decided it was weird, but really it's not. Realistically, it's your life. You get to decide how you live it. And I encourage you to be yourself. You get to decide who yourself is. So truth be told, it's okay if you feel a bit confused. Especially with the bit of a flashbang this video is kind of being right now. If you feel called out, that's fine. It's a chill video, I promise you. So let's investigate some feelings, shall we? And remember, while this video can't transform you magically into a girl, I have some news for you if you got this far into the video. You're probably a girl. I mean, most likely. But if you're just watching out of curiosity, that's chill too. I know the last time I did a video like this, I actually got comments from trans guys that were just really curious just to hear what I'd say. So just know, a random YouTube video can't lock you into a gender. However, perhaps this video can help you feel reassured in your journey and feel comfortable being yourself. So in that case, I wish to welcome you to the world of being a girl if you so wish to. However, if you don't want to, you're welcome to leave this video right now. It's been enough watch time where I benefit. So the thing is, if you want to live as a girl, feel free to stay. And I will talk you through some things. Perhaps advice I wish I had, some reassurance I wish I had. So the thing is, the world is a big, big place, and depending on where you live, transitioning will either be easier or harder. I'm in Australia, for example, so it's pretty easy, I must confess. There's a lot of privilege in that. But even still, everywhere in the world, there's transphobia, there's struggles, that kind of thing. However, even if you see lots of transphobia on the internet, and maybe in your day-to-day, it's not as all-encompassing as you might expect. Most people just go about their day. And honestly, it's just best to do what you think would make yourself the happiest. And there'll be people that might not approve of you being a girl, and that's fine. Not everyone will be accepting. Not everyone was accepting of me. Honestly, most people weren't. But we push on. There's a certain beauty to the perseverance of trans people. It's pretty impressive, actually. Trans people are just chilling. And no matter what age you are or wherever you're from, I want to let you know that it's okay if you want to live as a girl. There's nothing wrong with that at all, okay? Nothing wrong with that at all. If you want to just go out there and live as a girl, it's perfectly chill. 100% chill, don't worry. So, thing is, there's a lot of ways to become a girl. There's a social transition, which just refers to living socially as a girl. This can be using a new name, pronouns, chatting with friends, that kind of thing. Then there's also medical transition. There's these things called hormones, and you can simply use these to achieve, I guess, a second puberty, or a first if you haven't had puberty yet. All these hormones do is make your body do things that it would have done if it received primarily estrogen in the body. What this means is you can get hips, boobs, skin softening, that kind of thing. It's pretty cool, actually. I think when you read about it online, it sounds really scary, but I just want to reassure you, when you get it, it's literally just a box with some stuff in it, maybe a gel or pills or something. And you literally just consume it in the morning like any other headache medication or something. So it's a bit overblown how scary it is. You may be concerned about its permanence. Well, I have some wonderful news. HRT is not really permanent. At least not in the way you'd think. So the only HRT effect that is 100% permanent is breast development. However, your breasts will grow so slowly that by the time it even gets of a noticeable size, you'll probably know if this is for you or not. And if not, there's all sorts of options to reduce that. Transitioning doesn't lock you into the life of being trans. It's just an option. And honestly, not taking HRT is as much of like a pathway, so to speak, because your body on its own will produce testosterone, do those effects, whereas taking estrogen will make estrogen do its effects. As of now, there's no way to have perfectly androgynous hormones. The body unfortunately doesn't seem to receive that very well, but non-binary identities are still valid regardless. So with medical transition, it's just a thing you can go and do. It's not a thing that will grab you in and you'll be stuck forever. You can just stop. Heck, if you just stop taking hormones, testosterone will come back and do its thing. It's not like a thing that will lock you into it for eternity, so to speak. That'd be ridiculous. Now, for any younger viewers watching, typically younger people will receive hormone blockers if you're able to get access to them. Now, getting access to these can be very difficult depending on where you are, but it is possible in certain places. All those do is block, just blocks your puberty. What that means is it delays it till later. So you get time to decide while your body, for a little bit, is pretty much androgynous in its hormone structure. Because when you're younger, it doesn't really matter if your body does puberty or not. But at a certain point, you kind of gotta. So this gives you a good amount of time to decide if it's right for you. Also, it prevents very dysphoric changes. Now, if you're watching this and feeling sad that you didn't get an opportunity to get blockers, I will reassure you that I myself have never had blockers in my life. Not until I was an adult. I didn't have access to such a thing, yet I think I had a pretty successful transition. Now, different people start at different times. Results vary, but I find that even people that transition far older than me end up having breathtaking results. So it's not a thing that you're locked into not being able to do it because of age, whether you're young or old, or somewhere in the middle, because age is subjective anyway. So hormones is just a thing you can go do. Easier said than done. However, the internal barriers, I hope I was able to break those down a little bit. There's a bit of difficulty in telling people whether you want to do it, but I believe in you. Now, another part of transition that's a bit more daunting, and if you're first starting, you don't have to worry about this for a while. However, there is surgeries. Now, I think when you hear transgender, a lot of people jump straight to surgeries. I also wish to inform you, as of now, I've never had a surgery on my body related to transition. At least personally. Granted, I'm getting bottom surgery, as they call it, next year. But I waited quite a while and I've been able to successfully live as a girl despite not having it, so it's not a requirement usually. Now, some countries make it a requirement for gender changing things, but check the relevant laws related to your country. But most of the time, just know that on the inside, you don't have to have surgery to be a valid girl. It's okay to not want surgery. And in some places, alternate surgeries exist which combine lower regions together in a way, so you kind of get the function of both a little bit. These are quite interesting. Not well researched, but they're interesting. So yeah, they're kind of the three pillars, so to speak, of all things transition. There's all sorts of aspects to it. But a thing you might be curious about is why I sound the way I do despite not having blockers. So for people that don't know, taking estrogen doesn't change your voice. However, you can do a thing called voice training, which you can do right now, by the way, at any stage of your transition. There's all sorts of guides and tutorials. I've made some. Other people have made some. Find which ones work for you. And the voice can gradually change over time. You're not locked into whatever voice you have now. It's very flexible. It can change regardless of age. I had a pretty mask voice until like age 20-ish.
Hey, just filming my legs.
Hi. So, I got like a speech pathologist 2 weeks ago. So the hope.
I tried to do a girl voice as a teenager, but at the time the resources were not very good. I think we know a lot more than we used to. Granted, there's still ways to go. However, even after hearing all that, you might be unsure if this is even something you want to do. And that's fair. It's okay to feel that way. See, transition seems very daunting on the offset. I'd say a big reason for that is it feels so extreme. It feels like such a big step. But truth be told, transition's just a little part of your life. It's not like the only thing you have to ever do or be. It's just a part of you. And you don't have to conform to stereotypes of trans people that you see on the internet or elsewhere, okay? If you see me in a funny video, for example, or other trans content creators, you don't have to be like me or someone else. You don't have to resemble other trans people to be allowed to be trans. We're individuals of our own lives, and we do all sorts of things independently of being trans. Having lots of hobbies is super chill. There's people that like video games and still transition. There's people that like tabletop games, still transition. There's people that do competitive weightlifting and still transition. Wide spectrum. You can do all sorts of things. As for me, in case you're curious, I really like music, playing guitar, dancing, video games, that kind of thing. It's very fun. And I'm sure there's things you like doing. And you don't have to give up stereotypically masculine hobbies just to be allowed to be trans. You don't have to play with Barbie dolls as a 5-year-old to be allowed. At least in my case, I really wanted to play with Barbie dolls as a 5-year-old, but they didn't let me. So that's just how that goes, huh? Chances are, if the social opportunity was given to us, we might have done more stereotypically girly things because we would have been encouraged to do so. However, when you're grown up in I guess stereotypically masculine childhood, it's easy to feel like you have to be something else. It's easy to conform to hobbies. So part of transition, funny enough, is figuring out what hobbies you like and what hobbies you did because you had to conform to gender. Same goes for transition too, because you might feel a bit obligated to do girly stuff you don't actually like. So if there's a hobby you enjoy and it's not stereotypically girly, I just want you to know that you can do that hobby as a girl if you wish. There's nothing wrong with that at all. If anything, it's more authentic to you, and that's beautiful. It's important to be yourself. After all, that's most of this video. Now, I can't transform you magically into a girl with my magical powers or whatever. And that's just not how this works, I'm afraid. However, transitions are kind of magic that you can bring yourself. I don't actually have to transform you into a girl or whatever. I understand if we could transform into cis women, this would all be so much easier. I get that. I feel that all the time. It's easy to feel a sense of pain and loss from a time you didn't get. When people look at me now, they probably assume I had a very normal girl childhood. But I didn't. And I can't change that. And there's a lot of things I can't change, actually. A lot of time. Relationships. Just a lot of things I can't change. I mean, in high school, I mean, in high school, I had a relationship with a girl for a few years because I guess I felt expected of it. But yeah, I happened to like guys in the end, so that didn't quite pan out as expected. And on that note, your sexuality is independent of gender. What that means is that you can have a gender and then separately you have a sexuality. Your sexuality doesn't determine, so to speak, what your gender is. For example, if you like guys, you don't have to be a girl. For example, there was a case in history long ago when people would transition thinking that was the only way to be with men. That's because of the social restrictions. And there's also been people that just try to make it work. So your sexuality is separate. You can do what you want. If you like boys and you're a girl, that's okay. If you like girls and you're a girl, that's okay. If you like non-binary friends and you're a girl, that's okay. If you like certain combinations, that's okay. If you like none at all, that's okay too. And you might have heard a myth. It's kind of a myth. The sexuality changes when you start hormones. That's kind of true, but not really. There's a little trick to it. You see, when you start transition, you're going to feel more comfortable being yourself. And when you be more comfortable as yourself, you're probably going to make a lot of discoveries. You won't magically transform into a sexuality you don't align with. Don't worry. You're not going to take a single hormone pill and suddenly be absolutely floored by the sheer charisma of Ross Lynch from the band Driver era. You might, but it won't happen because you don't want it to happen. It'll happen because you want it to happen. So, I know there's a stereotype that trans people have to be perfectly straight. I understand me being a content creator and happening to be a straight trans woman unintentionally affirms that concept and makes it more prominent as a result. But let me make it clear. You can be any sexuality and any gender. It's okay. You don't become less trans. You don't become less valid. You don't become less girly. Your girliness and femininity is not defined in relation to how you feel about men. You know? No, instead, femininity comes from within, and you can like all sorts of things, okay? Funny enough, I think the amount of sapphic trans women have definitely been on an increase. That's not because they suddenly became lesbians. No, I think it's due to social acceptance getting a bit better. Trans women finally feeling like they can like any sexuality. Like any sexuality. That's a weird way to say it. They can be any sexuality. I mean, I know when I started transition, I thought I had to be straight to be trans, and I found out that wasn't true. So as a result, I remembered I was like, oh, so clearly I'm falling for what was it called again? The socially mandated straightness, I guess. Yeah, compet. That's the word. However, funny enough, for me, this made me kind of realize that I actually was just straight. But it's good to assess that kind of thing and make sure and not feel like you're doing it out of obligation. Don't want to do things out of obligation. You want to do it because it actually means something to you. Now, there's all sorts of aspects to transition. And wanting to be a girl is perfectly okay. You don't have to look or sound a certain way to be a girl. All these things I described was ways to affirm the gender. You don't have to do things you don't want to. Right now, as you sit on your computer or phone or Nintendo Switch or whatever, watching this video, if you feel like a girl, you can be a girl. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And I don't mean that in a you can become a girl. I mean that because you already are a girl. if you got this far in the video and you're nodding along and going, yeah, I'd like to be a girl, well, you already are one. All it takes to be a girl is to just feel comfortable being one, to feel happy to be one. Because that's all it takes. It comes from within, very literally. Just because I've done all this fancy hormone stuff and years of social transition didn't make me become a girl. That'd be ridiculous. I was a girl from the moment I was born, even if I didn't realize it. And if you feel like you want to live as a girl, the same applies to you. Now, we view gender so differently from person to person, but truth is, it's okay to be you. And even if you get to the end of this video and realize you're not a girl, that's okay. There's all sorts of options. If you like feminine things, but you still feel like a boy, femboy is a very common way to describe that experience these days. I think gender fluid was also a term thrown around a lot. And I think femboy became a pretty common one, but gender fluid's common too. And for those curious, gender fluid is just when the gender you identify with kind of ebbs and flows. So one day you feel like a girl, the other day you feel like a boy. That kind of thing. You know? It's just about feeling yourself. And for femboys, that's just referring to people that identify as men, but like to dress feminine. Someone could dress like me and they could identify as male, and that'd be perfectly chill. You can do absolutely any aspect of transition while still identifying as femboy. That's chill. You gotta do what feels right. But if you think you'd feel more comfortable as a girl, then I invite you to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. And most importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. Even if people bully, ridicule, mock, and be overall cruel to what matters to you. Your transness is valid, important, and it's important to you. You don't have to have other people validate you. You're important. You made it this far. Even if your life isn't exactly how you expected it to be, the future can shine brighter than any moment in the past ever could. For me, before I transitioned, I felt not very good. I felt generally kind of okay about my day-to-day, but overall, I didn't feel that good. And when I transitioned, I felt very good, hopeful. I've done more in the past couple of years than my entire life. Whether that's going to water park trips or meeting new people or following my interests like dancing. I definitely know if I didn't transition, I would never have had the courage to be in front of a camera like this and talking to presumably lots of people. And it's okay if you feel scared, concerned, worried. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with you. And I am proud of you. I know I don't know you. I know I don't have the capacity to know you. There's a lot of you. But when I make these videos, I think back to the person I was a decade ago. I think back to that little girl that was scared to be herself. That little girl that felt like just because she liked video games, she couldn't transition, or because she dated a girl at the time. But that's not how it goes. I was always a girl, and I'm glad I got to finally live in a way that's affirming to that identity. It wasn't easy. It was hard. I lost almost all the people in my life as a result. It's not easy. Honestly, it can feel unfair, cruel, and awful. I mean, when you have so much of your life not feel like you were ever there, that can hurt a lot, actually. It's easy to feel like some of it never even happened. feeling like you were never really there. If you've ever felt not present in the current moment, that's usually referred to as disassociation, where you're disassociated from the situation, as in you're not really there. You are there, but you're kind of not there. It's like being a spectator of your own life, not the active participant. If you feel that way, just know it's okay. There's ways to take control of your own story. There's many ways to do that. For me, what let me take control of my own narrative, my own story, my own life for once, was transition. Transition's what let me feel more comfortable with myself. Transition doesn't save your life per se, but it makes that life worth making good. It's a very common quote in trans spaces. If you have any feeling at all of wanting to be a girl, I encourage you, if anything, to just give it a go. Just get like one girly outfit, try it on, see how you feel. That's all it has to be. Maybe get a friend to use she, her pronouns and a name that feels girly and nice, and just see how it feels. You don't have to decide right away, but if it feels good, then you'll know what to do. Thank you for joining me in this video. If you enjoyed, feel free to subscribe. We do trans-related content every week. Hope you like this new camera angle, by the way. I decided at last second. I recently created a little area for myself to actually place my makeup somewhere decent, so I can actually practice makeup more. So I'm really excited. But if you're sleeping to this video, hope you have a great sleep. If you like sleepy videos from me, I have started an ASMR channel for the more like audio only ones that do not perform good on YouTube. So that kind of content can continue. Videos like you're watching now will still be on the main channel. I know it's a bit confusing, but I'm really thankful for this opportunity to help others. Because when I imagine someone just like me back then stumbling upon a video like this, that means a lot to me. That's why I do this. I don't want anyone to feel alone in transition. Just know, even if you're not viewed as the kind of person that transitions, you can still transition. Don't let people tell you what you can and can't do. I had people telling me I could never change my voice. They were wrong. I had people tell me I could never look good in girls' clothes. They were wrong. And most of all, they told me I could never be a girl. They were also wrong. I live as a girl, and when I go outside, my past doesn't matter anymore. I just live as me. And I hope I can give hope that that can happen to you too. So, thank you for watching this video. Stay hydrated and know that you are valid.